Vanessa here with the Red Circle podcast. Today we're going to be talking about masculinity. And I know Ed has a lot to say about that.
Because I'm very masculine.
What a man.
I'm very modest as well. Modesty and masculinity goes hand in hand.
Yeah, when you think of those two things, you think Ed.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, no. You know, it's funny. I think that masculinity does have to be confident.
Yeah, 1,000,000%, yes.
You know what I mean? It's ironically like I'm joking about it, but it does. Mm-hmm. If you're not confident, you're probably not in your masculine, you know, because masculinity is kind of strong and strength driven and powerful and willing to take space. So like if you look at posture as a simple example, like my posture right now, it's not like super masculine. Like if I was going to be super masculine, I would be like...
Men spreading.
Right? Like that, right? But if I was going to be like super feminine, so like I can read people's body language and they're like... You know, it's super feminine. You're narrowing yourself. You're closing in, making smaller space rather than bigger masculine space. Right?
Yeah.
Girls, the opposite. You kind of want to be dainty and like,
Smaller.
you know, smaller and not take as much space, right? Like if you think about a guy with his arm out and his girl's on his arm, she's kind of like smaller as well, you know, and she walks with her legs kind of in front of themselves, you know. She's not walking like big hole.
Like a lumberjack.
Yeah, you know, that's the difference. It's taking space, and it's a symbolic of naturally what men are supposed to do. Just take dominion, take authority.
Yeah.
Not necessarily of just like women, but I'm saying of everything. Right? A woman doesn't want a guy that's very passive, very indecisive, very not aware of what's going on, you know, very dumb. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to be Einstein, you know what I mean? He doesn't even have to be necessarily eloquent in his speech, you know, be able to speak in front of a bunch of people. Like Jake doesn't talk that very much.
He doesn't.
But he's also very, very masculine.
He is.
Right? So you see this balance, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would say is that, like, I don't know how we got on nonverbal communication, but it's kind of the thing that you see the most instantly. Like I can pick people up if they're in their masculine or if they're in their feminine just by their body language. Because your body language is kind of subconscious.
It is, yeah.
You don't sit down and be like, oh, I'm going to put my leg here. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Unless you become aware of it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you're not aware of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you think about, I'm going to give you one that's kind of weird.
Okay.
So when girls take selfies, right? Girls, they get their selfie and they go like...
Yes.
Like this, okay? What is that referencing?
So it's a better angle. You don't get, because if you do from below, you're bigger. You get like double chin. You want it to be higher so you look smaller. And it's a more flattering angle.
Yeah, but it's also a very, how do you say it? Someone's looking over you.
Ah, okay.
So if you think about it that way, like she's getting it. Right? It is.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like trying to look cute and prissy and whatever, you know.
Just no duck lips. We're over the duck lips now,
yeah,
I think.
Zoolander killed that, right?
We made it.
He's like, he's Magnum. He's like, what was the one that he couldn't do? He could
Blue Steel?
Yeah.
Is it Blue Steel?
He's like, I'm a Mamney Turner. I love Zoolander.
That was such a great movie.
He's like, what is this city? What is this school for? Ants?
We can't even fit the children
It has to
in
be
it.
like 5 times as big. My whole life is full of quotes from movies.
It's true.
So, for sure, you know, the way that women are supposed to be portrayed, are supposed to be vulnerable, smaller, not as like domineering, not necessarily trying to take space. You know what I mean? Like if you see a girl who's screaming at the top of her lungs in anger, it's not attractive. You know what I mean? But you see William Wallace cheering on his people, it's very attractive.
I think one of the things, so we've talked about masculinity a lot and how it's important. And society is making it, like, even the phrases, the terms, whenever you hear masculinity, people are thinking toxic masculinity. Or even when you were talking about like men sitting and you know, taking up space, women taking up less space, there's another phrase, man spreading. Do you know what that is?
I've never heard.
So man spreading is
I just feel like
when
spreading.
dudes
I
take
like
up
that.
space.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And so with man spreading, though, it can come off as toxic masculinity as well, because like if they're in the examples that they'll
I would
give,
say the ultimate man spreading is like the PE coach with his leg on a chair. Right? You know that one?
sup student.
And he's got like really short shorts.
Oh.
Today we're gonna be doing dodgeball.
Dodgeball. Yes. And so
We're gonna be learning the Cotton Eye Joe. Right? Remember?
I loved that dance.
Yeah, I did.
And so with man spreading, people will complain that like on a bus there's not enough seats, and the guy is just man spreading, and you know, just examples like that. And the guys I've always been around, like I went to college in Texas, I grew up in Texas. A lot of the men, whenever there's not enough space, they'll actually stand up and move and let the ladies sit. That's always been an experience I've had. So like talking about masculinity, how it's important, and how society tries to make it like this toxic, horrible thing. And some men are toxic.
Yeah.
They're like, that is like, that'll always be.
Oh, yeah.
But like masculinity is so important. We need strong men. We don't need wimpy men.
Wimpy men are toxic.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes, 100%.
Wimpy men are toxic.
Yes.
Unconfident men are the ones that won't get up and stand and open the door for a woman, right?
Yeah.
I do get mad though when I open doors for women and they don't say thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, get back outside.
Get out of here.
I'm gonna shut the door. You walk through the damn door yourself, you know?
Yeah. It's funny because Jacob, he grew up like on a farm, like he's a country boy, you know? And he opens doors, and we'll be like walking in places, and I'll have to wait because there's so many people just walking through the door that he's holding, and nobody says thank you. And I'll be like, you're welcome. You're welcome. He's holding the door. You're welcome. Because it's annoying.
Yeah,
like nobody
it is.
says thank you. They just expect it.
It's because they don't appreciate. You want to get deep in this?
Let's do it.
This one's crazy. Okay. I'm going to take you down a rabbit trail.
Okay.
Okay, so when a guy starts dating a girl. Okay, he starts dating a girl. He decides he's going to marry this girl for whatever reason. So what is he supposed to do first? If he's deciding to marry her, who does he have to go talk to first?
Technically, the dad.
The dad. Okay.
Men don't do that nowadays, though.
Well, you
Jacob
should.
did it.
Yes, you should. I did it. It was awkward, but I had to do it. So you go to the dad and you ask for his daughter's hand in marriage. Probably a lot of guys are not doing it because women are getting married in the 30s and they've already been through so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the dad's like, I don't know, I lost control of this girl. I lost control of this girl 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
She has 5 kids already.
Yeah, it's like,
whatever. Whoever.
At that point, it's kind of like just pointless. But traditionally, you would go to the dad, not the mom.
No, yes.
And ask for the hand. So the question is why would you ask the dad and not the mom?
Oh. Well, he's a man of the house.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is.
Tell me.
He's in charge of her protection, provision, and everything that is going on in her life. That authority, responsibility, authority and responsibility kind of go hand in hand, right? Is on the dad until it is passed.
Okay.
Okay, so if you think about it in the next way, okay, so he asks the dad, he gets the blessing, the approval, because the dad, in a sense, should have the authority to say no. No, you're a little kid. You don't have no job.
Yeah.
You know, he's like Smokey, right?
Yeah.
He got no job. He wants to marry my daughter, take my daughter, and deflower my daughter. No.
No. Yeah.
No, sir. So then he asks the dad. He gets the authority from the dad. Then he goes to the mom, not the mom, the daughter. Asks the daughter, "Hey, would you marry me or whatever?" Gets on the knee, makes a big show, right? And then they get married. Okay, so at the marriage, the husband is already down front with his dudes and the priest or the pastor. And, when he walks down the aisle to get in the front, nobody stands up and claps.
No. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. He's down there in front. Nobody gives a crap about that dude, right? He's there just looking awkward, like, I've been standing here for 2 hours. Like, what am I doing here, right?
What am I doing here?
Like, any guys been married, right? Put it in the comments. That's standing there for a while. It's a little awkward, right?
Oh my gosh.
It always reminds me of Vince Vaughn, right? In Wedding
Crashers?
No, Old School, where he's like,
Yes.
You still got a couple minutes. You can make it out of here.
I love Vince Vaughn.
So then the bride comes down. Everybody stands up and claps, right? Yay! And she's in a white dress. And she's being escorted by
her father.
Not her mother.
Yeah.
Not her. Well, in some cases they are. But traditionally you're supposed to be escorted by your father. And then they come down to the front. And then the pastor or the priest says, who gives this woman away? He's giving it away because it's his. Yeah. It's his authority, his responsibility.
Yes.
He's giving that, and he says, I do. And then he hands your hand to the husband, saying, she's yours now. No refunds. For the rest of your life, you're going to be paying for this chick.
Yeah.
I think it's a bigger moment than even what happens in the front when they say I do and exchange vows. That moment is way bigger. And it should be. Yeah. And it should be taken very seriously by both.
Yeah.
Like I want to start a tradition where the father and the bride-to-be, instead of bachelor party or whatever, the father and the bride-to-be go out and do something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They get to know each other. Yeah. And they do something, you know what I mean? Because that relationship's huge. Like, your family dynamic works really well because your father and your husband understand and respect each other.
Yes. I basically married my dad.
Yes.
I married the white cowboy version of my dad.
Yeah. your husband's the white cowboy version.
Well, and they say that too. They say that women are attracted to men that are similar to their father. Yeah. So if they have like a bad dad in their life, a lot of times they're going to be attracted to bad guys.
Yeah, like alcoholic or abusive or whatever.
Yeah, which is interesting.
That is fascinating. Yeah. Because they wanted that love, that affection from their father, and any way that they can get it, get it.
And then they try to fix them.
Yeah. Yeah. So that transfer happens at that moment, and now the husband is responsible for the woman, and he has to provide, protect, do all those things for her, sacrifice for her, right? And that's where like the Andrew Tate kind of misses it. Is he doesn't understand it's not that you have this authority that you get to rule over the other person with, is now you have the responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter what happens, You know, you want to hear a weird statistic?
Yes.
That's very sad.
Oh, no.
If a woman becomes handicapped, there's something like an 80% chance that the man will stay in the relationship until she passes, whatever it is. Invertedly, if the man becomes handicapped, there's an 80% chance the woman will leave.
Whoa. Dang.
Because the deal, our exchange, is that I can provide and protect.
Dang.
And if I can't do my job, then I have no value.
Wow.
Right? And that's the thing that women don't understand. Women's value is who you are. Our value is what we can produce. And if once we lose that, right? That's why it's so devastating for guys when they lose their job. Or they go through job changes like Jacob right now.
Yes.
It's so stressful for them because it's tied in, weaved into their identity.
Their identity and their value.
Yes.
Wow.
So guys that lose their job, I don't know this actual statistic, but it's high for suicide.
Wow.
High. You know, but women, so when we see a woman, she becomes handicapped. If she's already had her kids, she's already given us our kids, she can still kind of parent the kids. She didn't lose her value, right?
Yeah.
You don't. The guy doesn't marry a woman based on what she can provide, like financially.
Yeah.
Like we really don't care.
Yeah.
I know it's hard for you women to like, oh, I make this much money, I should get this big of a guy. Like, no. We really don't care what you do. If anything, it's a negative if you're like super successful as a woman, because it's kind of like, you ever heard this from women where they said that they're like really, really good looking women, like true 9s and 10s, right? And that they never get anybody asking them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you heard
that a lot, like from celebrities too. Like nobody ever asked me out. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's too. They know what they're biting off. They can't chew. You know what I mean? So a guy's looking at it, he's like, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm not gonna be able to keep that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's just gonna break my heart anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why go after it? You know. So guys know what their ranking is.
Yeah.
Girls have no idea. They all think they're like, you ask every girl, they're like, I'm a 7.
We should do like a Billy on the street and ask, what do you think you are?
What's your number? They're like 7,
Tally it up.
7, 8, 7. Like, you're never gonna get. You go to ask guys who's like, what do you think you are? Oh, man, probably like a 5 or 4.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys are okay being 5s and 4s.
Yeah.
Like they know.
So
You know, there's a guy that's like 5'5", right? And ugly. And has no job.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's probably a 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it sucks, but we know it. We know it. We know that there's things that, because our ranking is like, is pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah.
You know? And we instantly do it. Guys meet each other, we instantly rank each other.
You guys size each other up.
Quick.
This is interesting. So I had a friend from high school. He went to jail.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. He was selling things.
Selling crap.
He was selling drugs. And he went to...
That's the nicest way anybody's ever said their selling drugs.
He went to jail. And when he came back, he was like super buff.
Tatted out.
Yeah, he like just looked so different, but everything about his demeanor had changed, and he was very thin but like built. And he walked in. I used to have a restaurant, and he came to visit, and he walked in the restaurant, and he like made himself big. And he walked in and he looked at every single person that was in the restaurant.
He
was sizing everybody up. And then he sat like in the corner where he didn't have his back to anybody, and he was watching everybody. And I asked him about it. I was like, dude, what's going on? And he was like, well, I can take him, probably can't take him. He was sizing everybody up because of his experience in jail. But I had asked Jake about that. I'm like, do guys just size everybody up when they walk in the room? And he was like, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so the prison thing is unique.
Yes, because he could get beat up, and he needs to be careful with like where he is.
His world is he lived in a different world.
Yes,
he went to more of an animalistic world of males.
Yes,
and where survival of the fittest.
Literally.
But hierarchies in the real world are not just can I beat you up? Because I have another friend. He went to prison, and he thought the same way. And I would talk to him. I was like, dude, why are you thinking like that? So a guy would come into the gym and he would be like, he would say something like the guy lifted more in the deadlift, and he's like, but I could kick his ass.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
And I was like, what does that even have to do with him? Like, good for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like a guy that's driving a Ferrari, and they're like, he's probably a crook.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You don't know that?
Yeah.
He could have daycares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have old folks' homes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have
like,
no idea. Yeah.
You don't have any idea what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like he could have inherited it. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't do anything for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy when you think about that. But that's the same way he was. Is he would always, but I could beat him up. And I'm like, dude,
Okay.
who cares if you could beat him up?
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna fight him?
Yeah.
For what? Like, what did he do to make you mad?
We're just working out, sir.
like you don't have to think like that. But no, guys, the way that most guys size each other up is one question. What do you do?
Oh.
That's the number one hire.
And that's like the question that gets asked all the time.
It's the number one. It's the first question. It's the first question.
What do you do?
And it's because we're pack animals. Humans are pack animals.
Yeah.
100%. We're the best pack animal there is. That's why we're at the top of the food chain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yes, chimpanzees can like attack a place and do this, and they lions kind of have like somebody to go kill the prey and another person to watch the pride. But like humans, like we build houses, like streets, and like you farm, I'll pack, you know what I mean? I'll have a grocery store. Like we utilize each other as a pack better than any other animal in the whole world. Like we're super smart compared to everybody else. Like a 2-year-old baby compared to the smartest monkey in the world is light years away. Is light years away.
Yeah.
From what a chimpanzee can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When you were talking about giving the bride away, so my experience with that, Jake asked my dad for my hand, and he was like, yeah. But my dad had a couple of conditions. One condition, really, because I was in college at that time. And my dad wanted me to finish. And he was like, you can have her hand, you can marry whenever you want, but her graduation is on you. You better make sure she finishes. Because he didn't want us to start having babies and then me not like finish college. And Jacob took that super serious.
He's like, don't knock her up.
He was like, she's finishing college. I think I had like a year and a half left. And so he would help me study. And I didn't even know that they had that combo. And one day...
No, he buried it in there.
Yeah.
He didn't even say.
No, Jake never even told me for a little while. And he was helping me study, and I was super frustrated with this one tax accounting class. And Jake is smart, so he like reads through it. I explain a little bit. He's like, "Oh, I got this." Like, you know, he it's frustrating. Anyways, I'm like studying this stuff, and he's like, "Beep beep beep." Okay, I got it. And he was helping me. He was like, "No, like you graduating is my responsibility." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then he told me that combo. And then when we got married, my dad, because I was in Texas State. In San Marcos, so I was like 8 hours away from El Paso. We got married in El Paso. When I got in town for the wedding, my dad was like, okay, you have all these doctor's appointments. He wanted to get me new contacts. He wanted to get like dental. Like I got all the doctor's appointments, and he told me because I'm going to be off his insurance, he just wanted to make sure everything was okay. And so the day of the wedding, I had picked up my contacts for that day, and my dad told Jake, he was like, all right, she's in perfect health. I got her eyes, her teeth, everything. She's in perfect health. I give her to you.
It's like a bow.
In perfect health.
Yeah.
You better keep it that way.
Yeah.
And
it's
it was
mint condition.
she's in mint condition. Keep it that way. And that was funny. So you're explaining that. I was thinking about my experience, and yeah, it's interesting.
Let me drop a crazy bomb on you. So when the guy takes on all this responsibility, goes through this whole thing so that he can marry this woman, right? You can see a little bit as to why he's maybe a little more hesitant. Women don't understand why they're hesitant, right? They're like, just do it already. It's been 5 years, you know? He's like,
put a ring on it.
right? But what is it that he's getting in exchange?
A partner?
That's what most women say. But traditionally, what he's getting in exchange is her virginity.
Oh. So that was like, I feel like that's not as much of a thing nowadays.
Oh, just like finding a unicorn, right? It's
Yeah.
like finding a unicorn, like a guy that married a virgin, like find me one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find me one.
Yeah.
We want to study it.
We don't believe it.
It's like, I don't know. So if you really think about the deal that's being made, the guy still has all the same responsibility to a certain extent. But the women, like, their exchange for this is gone.
Yeah, it's a different
It's
deal.
like it's not a fair deal. In exchange, right? If you think about it in a traditional sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you think about hierarchy in regards to men, right? So women always want to talk about, I want to get a high valued man, right? Like, okay, I get it. Like, and you girls are the barometer of finding men.
Yeah.
Okay, so a guy goes to girls all the time. Like, everywhere girls go, all they do is just get offered the D. We all know it. Everywhere you go, they're like, you're just like, oh, do you want to supersize that? And you can see in his eyes that he just wants to give you the D. Right?
Yes.
Girls know this. Right? Everywhere you go, you're just constantly being offered the D.
Yeah.
Okay, in a guy's world, we don't get offered the V.
Yeah.
You know, we don't get offered the P or whatever you want to acronym it.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't live in that world. So you're the gateway to that, to sex, right? We don't have the gateway to sex.
Yeah.
We don't have the keys.
Yeah.
We have to go in like, it's like the peacock dancing, right? It's like, am I good enough?
Feathers.
Am I good enough to get some pee, please? You know? And the girl's like, sorry. You know what I mean? So in Tinder, there's a swiping thing. One way you swipe is negative. Another way you swipe is positive.
Yeah.
Have you seen the statistics on Tinder? I think
No.
it's Tinder, yeah. So this is crazy. Now, I'm going to make up these statistics, but they're somewhere in this vicinity.
Yeah.
So men will go on Tinder and swipe yes like 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Women will go on Tinder and they swipe yes like 0.01% of the time of all the pictures.
Whoa.
See? It's crazy. It's insane how
That is
many.
interesting.
How many? So it's the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Invertedly, we decide whether or not to get married. We have the keys to marriage
Yeah.
because we're taking on the responsibility. Because if it was up to a guy, he'd just sleep with everybody and not have to worry about it, which is funny because that's what women are doing right now. They're just giving it up with nothing in exchange.
Yeah.
They're losing their value, right? Because to men, you know, your body count's a big deal, right? Guys don't want to be with girls that just have this high body count. They might want to sleep with you, but they don't want to put a ring on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So body counts is a big thing to men, and it's not even conscious, it's more unconscious. Like, we know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this was way too easy to do. I'm not marrying that girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that phrase, like, she's not the type of girl you take home to mom. Like, she's not the girl that you're going to be serious about.
Yes. So back to my girls is I want to keep them that way. So by the time they're at a certain age, that they can get the highest value of a guy that they can get. Morality, financially, all of these things, right? Because I want her to be taken care of and to be cherished. And there's even a thing where women absorb the DNA of every man that they're with. Did you know that?
I've heard similar things, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you literally change with every dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
And we bond, like there's like,
especially the first one.
yeah, like the
You're like
pheromones.
marked.
Yeah, like we like when you have sex, like everything that's released, you bond with that person. Like you, yeah.
And guys don't have that.
Yeah.
Guys is just it's like it's back to like the animalistic thing. I'm talking just biology. Biologically, it's not a big thing as much as it is to the woman.
Yeah.
So, like, would you agree that a woman cheating and a guy cheating are somewhat different? Now, it's not different in the infraction because it's like you made a commitment.
Yes.
But it's different biologically because the girl is, and I don't know if it's hard or not hard for girls to not cheat as it is for guys. Because the guy is bred to just try and reproduce. And the girl's not. So the way that I always seen it is that if a girl cheats, she's trying to find a more higher quality, a better dude. So girls cheat up, guys cheat down, like Arnold Schwarzenegger with the maid, right?
Yeah.
The guys don't cheat up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's interesting. I've never thought of it like that.
He's just like, whatever. He's just trying to get his rocks off.
Yeah.
Right? He's not necessarily trying to accomplish a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And I think girls don't understand that a guy will sleep with somebody and it not mean anything to them other than he's just, maybe he's lonely, maybe he's not feeling good, maybe you caught him on a bad day.
Yeah.
Or maybe you make him feel a certain way that his wife's not making him feel. And he's like, oh, she doesn't break my balls every time I see her. Like most of the time the guys, like with the secretary, right? You know, like this is the there's a reason there's that feeling with the women. Like,
Yes.
it. And you get to the office and the secretary's like, oh, here's your coffee. You're like, bitch. Right? Why are you giving my man coffee? Why are you doing this to him, right? And why are you being nice to him and submissive? So you go home and she's like, why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that? We should take the trash out. You didn't roll it in the curb. And he's like, he doesn't get that at work.
Yeah.
He doesn't get that at work. So you want to keep your man. Maybe don't give him such a hard time about the trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at work he gets respect. He's in the work way, right? But at home he just gets nothing but disrespect and an angry woman.
Yeah. Right?
Like, you want him to want to come home. Just saying.
Yeah.
You don't want him to be hiding from the house.
There's a saying, you want to be his peace. And some girls on TikTok were like, I'm not his peace. I'm his panic, because they're Hispanic. It's so funny. I totally get what you're saying though. Like, and it's interesting when Jake gets home, like now he works from home, but before, like when we were in college, he worked at Discount Tire. So he was like, he'd come home just soaked in sweat because we're in Central Texas. It's humid. He's been running around for 10 hours doing tires, and he would just need to like decompress. And he'd come home and I'd be like, hey, we need to do this. And he's like, can I just have like 30 minutes? Because I've been yelled at all day. And I wouldn't be yelling, but like he just needed like a little bit of time. And it's interesting too, like when you're talking about housework and things like that, like And we've had this conversation before too with the deal that you make when you get married. And I think a lot of people don't even realize that you're like setting standards and making a deal. And like our deal, the only things he has to do, and if he doesn't do them, I'm like, ugh, is take out the trash on Fridays and empty the dishwasher. That's it. Because those are the two things I hate to do. Also, I will not do the trash. That I will not do it.
There's definitely something with women and trash.
I will not do it. But I'll do everything else. But I hate unloading the dishwasher. And if it's time for me to load it and I open it and it's loaded, I'm like, oh, this man didn't do his one job. You didn't do your one job.
I'm getting a divorce.
He didn't do it. But I've gotten over that. I'll just like, well, he didn't do it.
Yeah.
But those are the only two things. And we'll have these talks about it. And over the years, he's just gotten really, like, we don't have to have talks about it anymore because he just does them. I do everything else. But that's the deal we made. I like doing all the other things. I won't do these two things.
Yeah, it's funny that, and I think it's something that if you're married or you have a significant other and you're living together, I wouldn't recommend doing that. But if you are, talk about it. Make a deal. Because this idea of expectations that aren't said is the killer in any relationship. Yes. Not even just male and female. I'm talking about business, relationship, anything. Yeah. It's like, what's your expectation for me? And do I agree with this? Just because you think I should do it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. So like back to your relationship with Jake and and your father, because they're similar, their personality kind of makes sense to you. But like me and my wife, her father, he's very hands-on. He like fixes everything. He never sits down. He's like my wife. Yeah. And me, I'm not like that. Yeah. I'm not necessarily handy. Yeah. You know, I like to leisure. I learned a long time that I will make more money with this than I ever will with a hammer. Right? Yeah. I'll make more money with my brain than I ever will with
like busting your body. Yeah. Yeah. Backbreaking.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm diametrically opposed to, like, I'm very much different than her father. So she doesn't understand how I can function in this life. And it's taken her years to try and figure out what the hell, why is this guy like this? Yeah. Right? And it's mainly just because I grew up different. I have a totally different idea of how the world works. You know what I mean? Why would I do $10 an hour work when I can pay somebody else when I can make $400 an hour? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, who's better to do it? You know? Some people are like, oh, why would I ever pay anybody to change my oil? And I'm like, because they're good at it and that's what they do. And and they can do it fast. I don't know how to change oil. And, you know, just because you have that understanding doesn't mean it's right or wrong. Yeah. It's both. Yeah. It's right to you, but maybe it's wrong to assume that it should be that way. Yeah. So communication's key. Yeah, you got to talk about it. You have to. You have to talk about it. You really, really do. You know, and like, it's also, who is that person? You know, so like people that are low in orderliness and conscientiousness and industriousness, like me, I'm not going to be running around everywhere. That's not my thing. I'm definitely more interested in learning something new and studying something or trying something new or talking to people rather than doing dishes. Yeah. You know, like if I had to do dishes every day of my life, like it would be torture. It would be hell. It would be hell. You know what I mean? And I don't want to live in hell. Yeah. So why wouldn't I hack that? Yeah. So like what I've ended up doing is hiring maids. Yeah. That's my deal. Is like, I'll pay the maid. Yeah. She does way more work than you can do. Yeah. And she does it in half a day. Yeah. You know, so why would I do that? You know, there's just tidbits. And for the longest time, she didn't like that because she felt like I was getting off on like scot-free.
Yeah, she wanted the pound of flesh.
She wants the pound of flesh.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like a light bulb on moment, because there's a lot of things like between Jake and I where like he'll get it done, but not necessarily in the way I wanted him to get it done. Like with the dishes, like she wants you to do the dishes, but you pay somebody else to do the dishes. And it got done. So what's the problem? We want that pound of flesh. So I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, well, he got it done. I don't need that pound of flesh. All I needed was for that thing to be done.
Exactly.
And so that's been a mind shift for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could help.
You're like, you're welcome, Jacob.
Yeah, you buying lunch next week.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't realize, like, I don't know why I needed that pound of flesh, why I wanted that sacrifice him to do it the way I wanted him to do it, because it doesn't matter. What matters is that it got done.
Yes.
That's it.
The goal is the end result.
Yes.
You know, and that's kind of my thing, is I'm always end result driven. I'm not necessarily care how we get there. You know, if I drive a car down, you know, mountain, or if I fall off the mountain, but I'm there on the bottom anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, we made it.
We're here. You know, as long as I'm alive. Usually I'm falling down mountains, you know what I mean? But I'll get there.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't care so much about like, oh, let me write a plan, you know.
Yeah.
The syllabus, like on the vacation, you guys had all these notes and stuff. And I was like, I packed my bag like 5 minutes before I left, you know what I mean?
That's just so funny. All right, let's go.
You know, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So, let me give a couple things about femininity that's kind of interesting. I think that a lot of women are trying to be masculine, and it makes them depressed. Yeah. It's kind of, I'm going to use this example. I know it's going to make everybody mad, but it's kind of like okay. God, I'm going to get in so much.
Be nice in the comments.
Yeah. So forgive me. Now, I'm not saying they're this, okay? I'm just using it as an example of a way to do it. So there's this guy named Cesar Millan.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Cesar Millan?
Yeah, he's the dog guy.
The dog whisperer guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the dog whisperer guy, he goes to people and they have dogs that are out of control. And 90% of the time, the way that he fixes them is he fixes the handlers, the owners of the dogs, right? And he's like, oh, well, you're giving them anxiety because you're not letting them be in their natural state, right? And you're giving them too much responsibility. So it's like you see dogs and they have like this big like vest and they're walking them, and the dog, like in my mind, because of Cesar Millan, he's like, oh no, the dog's walking you, you're not walking the dog. The dog has this extra stress level because they're in a position that they're not made for with their owner.
Yeah, they probably don't feel safe. They probably don't feel like they have to be extra watching their surroundings, and it's stressful.
So it's the same thing with children, and it's the same thing with my wife, with women. If you're outside of your position that you're not designed to be in, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you really go back and you see your grandparents, they were a lot more happy women, your grandma, than if they were married in a happy relationship than most women are today. You know, and it's not because the guy ruled over her and slapped her around or whatever and, you know, abused her. No, she knew her role and she was able to fulfill it. Right?
Yeah.
She knew her role and she was able to do it. And it was not like, so like, let me give you an example. You said something about a family reunion?
Yeah.
Who's the older lady in your family?
My grandma, bless her. She's 94.
Okay. And she's the grandma of everybody.
Yes.
So you're going to go to a family reunion. There's probably going to be, 100 people there.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Marqueses.
Right?
Yeah.
And all of them came from this one woman.
Yeah.
and all of them are going to honor her and cherish her, take pictures with her. She's going to be the star of the family reunion.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody going to ask what she did for a living?
No.
Nobody gives a crap.
Yeah.
Anybody ask, like how much money she made, what kind of car she drove? Like maybe if you just want to know about her life, but you want to know about her and raising the family and doing the kids.
Yeah.
That's her legacy.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason in society now, women have discounted that.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many women that are going to be 70 and 80 years old alone.
Yeah.
With cats.
Yeah.
They're going to be a cat woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to have like 15 cats in their house, and they're going to miss out on all of that.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
What are they getting in exchange? Another 5 years, 10 years of partying?
Yeah.
Of drinking?
Yeah.
Would you exchange, kind of like William Wallace, would you exchange those extra 5 or 10 years of drinking and partying for that legacy of another 50 years of people coming to your house for Christmas and coming in Thanksgiving and having homage to what you are as the patriarchy of the family?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I think like people just discount that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's so valuable though. Like it really is. So I'm like in that right now. Like it's interesting because I've had these conversations with Jake and it's been weird. So I've always been entrepreneurial ever since I was a kid. Like I've always since 8. Like I wanted an above ground pool. Mm-hmm. We baked cakes. We did lemonade sales, and I made $250 because I calculated the tax. And I went and I gave him the money, and I got that pool, and I was so proud of myself. So I've always known that I want to be entrepreneurial, which means I'm going to be working, right? And I've placed my value, like who I am. Who are you? I'm an entrepreneur. That's always been who I was. And then now that I've had kids, I'm a mom. And I love being a mom. And it's hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And then the postpartum, add that to it. And it's like, but I would never change any of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm in this place where my identity has been entrepreneur. But I don't necessarily want that to be my identity anymore.
Yeah.
I want to like be at home with my kids and do all those things. And then
I think a lot of times people don't think that you can put an and.
Yes, it's always or, there's never and. And so now I have my CBD business, Blue Tide. And I did that for 3 years. And
#BlueTide.
Blue Tide Organics. It's kind of on hold right now because I'm doing the mom thing. And that's been weird, because like I'll have days where I'm like, I really want to like go on Instagram and sell some stuff and do this and that. But I have a play date. You know what I mean? And so I've kind of realized I've put Blue Tide in the back burner. This is what we're doing right now. And this is like a manageable thing where I can still get out early enough and get the girls. And I don't have too much on my plate to where I'm not giving my babies the attention or Jake the things that he needs as well. And it's like, it's weird. I don't know. I've just been realizing things and having that conversation with Jake, people are always like, you can do both. You can, but I don't think you can do both well. Yeah. Because when I was popping with my business, the house was a mess. I felt guilty because I was on Instagram talking to my people and my daughter walks in the room and I'm like, you just ruined my video. Yes. And then Addie's like, I'm sorry, and then I feel bad and I'm going to cry. And so kind of putting my business on the back burner, but like being the best mom I can be. I'm loving that. And it's a season. Yeah. It's a season. They're going to get older and they're going to get more, independent, and I'll be able to do more. And I don't know why there's not value in society for being a mom, because it's like the best thing ever. Well, and it's the hardest thing ever.
You're raising children.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, what's more important than who the people are going to be after us?
Yeah,
right?
no,
Like,
literally, it's everything. And I have friends that kind of like what you're saying, like, because I'm 34, so all my friends are like in their early 30s. And a lot of them don't have babies. I'm the only one that I grew up with that like has kids and is in a stable relationship. And I never looked at them and thought like, oh, I wish I was that. Like they travel and they do all these things, and we travel too, but it's with kids, you know, it's a little different. But
you go out to eat, it's Peter Piper and Mickey D's.
Yes, and hopefully we can get a sitter.
Chick-fil-A.
Yes, Chick-fil-A every Wednesday, not on Sunday. And it's in comparing my life to their life. Not that I compare, but you know, like I feel sad for them because they are going to grow up one day and be like 49, and I feel like they're not going to have as much fullness. But I don't know. I mean, you know, that's the future, but my life is so full.
Yeah. No, and that's the one thing is that you can't get that fullness without the responsibility that comes with it.
Yeah, and it's a lot. It's hard. It is not easy.
Like people tell me they're tired and they don't have kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
give me a break. No.
Yeah.
But the great thing that is that if they're is when you do something that's hard and then you give it your all, there's a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you get that results with it.
Yeah.
Like the kids, like there's little things that people will never understand that don't have kids. You know, like the boys and the girls are different. But the girls, like, they'll come in the room and, Daddy, I love you. And then you're like, you know, they like. And then you're the best daddy, or she'll come and snuggle with you, right? Yes. Do you know? Okay, so let's take it a step further. Do you know how lonely people are in society? How broken and hollow people's lives are, and they try and fill it with drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever, right? Success, and you can get it right here with kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kids fill so many parts of those holes in your heart.
Yeah.
That you just can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. It's almost, and I feel bad too because I don't want anybody to feel like you have to have kids. Like some people just aren't meant to have kids, I'm sure. I have not met anybody like that though. Every woman that has ever told me that I know on a personal level, I never want kids. They want kids. I've had combos with one of them every time she drinks a lot. I just really want to be married and I really want to have kids. But when she is, you know, sober, it's, oh, strong, independent woman, which is great. Like I'm a strong, independent woman also, but I don't know. It's just like there's like a kid-shaped hole, and like you can fill it with other things.
Specifically for women. And the way I can prove it to you is two ways. A, talk to any woman that lost a child.
Oh my God, devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating.
You know, either through a miscarriage or something happened and the kid was killed. Okay?
Yeah.
So that amount of grief is equal to the amount of value that's added.
Yeah.
Okay? And then second is a woman that can't have. Like we have a friend that we know, super sweet girl, and biologically something's wrong. I don't know exactly. I never wanted to ask. But she can't have children. And you can see the devastation of that in her life. So Proverbs 31 is the woman's chapter.
Oh.
So most people don't know that.
Lemuel. All right. As long as there's not weird names. Okay.
No pressure.
Epilogue, the wife of noble character. The wife of noble character. All right.
Women have heard this before. Well, most of them should have.
The wife of noble character, who can find? She is worth far more than rubles. Her husband has full confidence in her. When I first read this, like, I really loved it. Like, I highlighted all of it. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships. Bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it out of her earnings.
So she's doing deals. She's not saying that he's not doing deals, right? She's doing deals.
She's in charge.
She's a boss lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. She considers the fields and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand, she holds the distaff, and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gates. When he takes his seat among the elders of the land, she makes the linen garments and sells them. When they respect him when he takes his seat with the elders of the land. She makes fine linen garments and sells them, and supplies the merchants with sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom and faithful instruction on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gates.
So a couple things. I like that charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting. This is the fear of every woman, right? It's getting old, right?
Dyeing her hair and all the serums,
And shooting yourself up with Botox.
With botulism. That's what Botox is. I love Botox.
Okay. So, let me tell you this. There's a difference between a hot woman and a beautiful woman. Two different things.
Yeah.
So picture in your mind, this is what they did in the Joe Rogan episode. Picture in your mind a woman that's hot. Okay? For some reason, it's red's involved, right?
Oh, it is involved.
Right? It's kind of weird, right?
Oh, that's so funny.
And then now picture a woman that's beautiful.
Okay.
Now picture her 65. She's still beautiful, right? Have you ever seen a 65-year-old lady that's just reaming with beauty? She's radiant.
Yeah. I Zumba with a lady like that. She's
wrinkles
fantastic.
and all.
Yeah.
Wrinkles and all, right? Because beauty doesn't have to do with necessarily the hourglass look or perky boobs or whatever women talk about, right? Beauty is personality. Beauty is a state of being. It's a grace. It's a presence, right? And men marry beauty. Men don't marry hotness. We'll sleep with hotness, but we don't marry it. We marry beauty, and beauty is everlasting. So I think most women think that they have to keep up their hotness level rather than trying to keep up their beauty. Okay. So now I'm not saying, like, a woman that's beautiful, she takes care of herself. Okay, I'm not saying you don't take care of yourself, you don't exercise, you don't do those things. But it's a presence, it's a personality, it's an image of self.
Confidence.
Yeah, confidence is in there as well, but I think it's better than that. It's bigger than that. You know what I mean? So if there's anything that I would, if I was a girl, which I'm not, if I was a girl that I would study, that would be that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like look at the Mona Lisa. Right? Is she just like some studying hot chick? No, but everybody knows she's beautiful, right? Like, or a Betty White or something like this, right?
Yeah.
I can't tell you exactly what it is. I just know it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my grandma had it. You know what I mean? And she was still elegant, and she was still dainty, and she was still beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't think, like, I think as a husband, as you see your wife getting older, right? Having kids, right? Which makes women super self-conscious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Your body changes a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And it's fine. You know what I mean? And I look at my wife with her body now, and I don't see it as a negative thing. I think it's beautiful because her body created children. It's a miracle body. You know what I mean? I don't have that body.
Yeah.
You know, so don't get so tied up in these superficial, 2020s, you know what I mean? And think that that's the way that you're going to bring yourself, your own self-confidence. Become the person that you want to be, you know? And the other thing is, to the guys, that woman cannot be that woman unless she's under that protection and she's being provided for. And she has the ability to be that woman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She can't go and buy a field in the field unless they have access.
Yeah.
She can't go and do these trade things and stuff like that unless it was started somehow. Right?
And reputation too. Back then, I'm sure the husband has a good reputation. He's a good man. Yeah.
Yeah, reputations is a big deal. You know, and I just think that there's too much put in the fakeness of being like some supermodel chick on Instagram, and they think that's what guys want. But it's not. They might want to sleep with it, but like after that, they're done with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I hope you young women will take it to heart. Is like, don't give your value away to just some dude that's not gonna appreciate it. You know what I mean? Yeah. He'll tell you anything to get in those pants.
Yes.
He'll tell you anything. He will lie. He will say he's a race car driver. You know what I mean? Guys will make up anything to do it. You know, it's a peacock. He's dancing in front of you. You know what I mean? And but don't sell that value of yourself short, because it's way more valuable. Don't give up the character of yourself for a one night thrill or a fling or just to feel something. Women do that. They're like, I just need to feel something. I want that spark back, right? Because you lose that spark in marriage, you know. And sometimes it's like, let's say this last thing. When me and my wife were getting married, we were at Target doing scanning stuff, right? For
the registry.
Yeah. And we were having fun, right? And then we look over and there's another couple over there doing registry, right? And they're like scanning things. And they're like kissing each other and like hugging each other and like, oh.
I can see Sephra's face now. I bet she looked at them and she was like, oh.
She looks at me and she's like, they'll never last. And it's true, because that's fake. That's fake. It's about the partnership. It's about the deal being made, and it's about understanding how to live with another person. It's not the honeymoon phase. It's not this warm and fuzzy. You know what I mean? That's not what life is about.
Yeah.
That's movies. That's music. That's not real.
Yeah.
That's not real.
Yeah. And expecting that to be like that forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It isn't real.
Yeah. So go out there, guys, and find a good woman. That's the other thing that's interesting in the beginning of this. It says, if you find a wife, you find a good thing. It's not you find a woman. You find a wife. They're two different things.
Yeah.
It's like you find a man or you find a husband. Husband's a totally different thing. You guys you can get all the man you want everywhere you go. You know, they offer it to you all the time. Right?
Hearing you say the D, like, this is so funny.
It's true though, right? It's true. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I figured that out, I was like, these girls are just kidding. Because I'm very talkative. This is how I figured it out. Because I'll talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I'll, make jokes with the waitress, make jokes with the cashier. And my wife's like, are you flirting with them? I was like, no. No, like I'm over here. You know what I mean? Like, they're not on my level.
Yeah.
Like, I have my own standards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I would even flirt with my wife around here, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. Is like,
you're like, no, I'm just talking to people.
It's like Jake with the other lady that was doing loans, right?
Oh yeah.
You're like, he's like, no, she's real old. You know what I mean? He's like, no, she's real. So she was like, this girl's texting her all the time.
Yeah. So a lady that's a lender was texting him often, and I was like, oh, well, what is she saying to you? And he's like, no, she's old. Like, chill. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It's funny because then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got nothing to worry about, But it's true. Like you have these things, and I learned it that way because she's like, oh, but they're taking it that way. Girls interpret that all the time, like the eye contact thing you told me that one time where your friend, you'd give eye contact, way too much eye contact.
This dude would give eye contact in college to everybody. Like, we'd talk to him, and he would just like stare, like he listened to you, and we were like, oh, and we were all talking about it later. I'm like, I think he was flirting with me. No, I think he was flirting with me. No, me. And we all realized, oh, he just pays attention and gives eye contact, and we think he's interested, and he isn't. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that I think is fascinating to me. Now, not all the time every guy that talks to you is trying to get but it's more often than not. You know what I mean? So, all right, that's it for today, guys. Yay!
I hope you enjoyed it. Comment. Leave us questions, guy questions, and then we can answer them in maybe a future podcast. Definitely. Female questions. Yes. Maybe if you have like a story that you want to tell us or something.
We can read it. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Bye.